In 2001, Moulin Rouge was a hit with critics and audiences. Ewan McGregor's bold performance earned him a Golden Globe nomination.
If it's an exciting new creative challenge, as an actor, he's there. On the one hand, he's a crafted actor, and on the other hand, he's Steve McQueen, you know? Steve McQueen, movie star meets crafted actor, you know? And I guess the thing about him is that, you know, his excitement, his need of intake for challenge and excitement, like McQueen needed to be tearing around on a motorbike, you know, life and death, that's what keeps him going. So the creative challenge has to be a bit life and death with him.
In fact, Ewan shares the late Steve McQueen's real-life love of motorcycles.
I do like riding fast and stuff on tracks. I've taken much more to riding on race tracks to do that. Because I don't, you know, it's just, it's not clever to ride really fast on the roads. There's no, you don't know what's around the corner. And
you get pulled over in England, they have the snappy...
Yeah, pictures and stuff. But more than that, you know, if you go around the corner too fast, there could be a tractor pulling out and you're dead, you know. I don't want to die, so I do that really fast stuff on the racetrack with my friends, and we have a blast doing it. There's nothing like it. It takes me completely away from this world, you know, where everyone's only interested in bikes and how fast you got round that corner and who got their knee down the most round the hairpin and blah, blah, blah. And it's brilliant. It's a brilliant day when we all ride to go and watch the races as well, the superbike races and the Grand Prix and stuff.
Did you have a close call?
I've had a few crashes, yeah. I came off on a racetrack at 110 on a corner, which was extraordinary. I mean, I went in on this corner, a left-hander, and then I stood up, and there was kind of no in between. I just tucked into the corner, and then I was getting up, and the bike was, I'd come off, and the bike was 200 meters up this way, and the skid mark was all the way back there. And I was completely unharmed, and it is incredible the gear you get now. You can, you know, on a racetrack it's much, much safer than on the roads. But I just love it.
McGregor was in for more thrills in Sydney, Australia, when he began working on Star Wars Episode II, Attack of the Clones. Amazingly, Ewan traveled from 19th century Paris to a galaxy far, far away without taking a single step.
Did I read that they actually broke down the set of Moulin Rouge to make way for Star Wars Episode II?
We certainly went over schedule on Moulin Rouge, and Star Wars needed to get in. However, it was our dance hall set. It was the main Moulin Rouge dance hall set, which was probably one of the most beautiful the most beautiful set I've ever worked on. And as a result, when we saw it gone, it felt like something had really gone. It was sad. It was really sad that it had just been ripped down. And in a very funny way, it was Star Wars, which is a blue screen film.
Ewan found acting in front of a blue screen anything but amusing.
Because it's very tricky. I mean, playing a scene realistically in front of a blue screen without, you know, your other actors there is quite challenging.
But one ride turned out to be all too real.
They had built this huge hydraulic gimbal, so it can move basically around like that anyway. And they put the yellow speeder, it's like a yellow cab, I guess. And for 2 days we did this scene as this thing was going like that. It made you seasick, you know, this made you feel like throwing up. After about an hour and a half on it, you wished you were doing something else, some period drama in the south of France or something would have been nice.
In Attack of the Clones, Ewan co-starred with Natalie Portman and Hayden Christensen. Director George Lucas.
He's supposed to be playing older than he is and the mentor to everybody. So he's kind of the old man of the group.
Oh, I just find myself feeling old. It's very bizarre. I remember they had, Natalie brought some photographs in. She wanted to show me a photograph of something. And I carried on through, and there was these pictures of a party they'd had, because we shot the whole thing in Sydney. And it was all these, you know, people, Natalie and Hayden's age, having a party, and I wasn't in there. And I thought, my God, I'm now the middle age, I'm the middle guy, you know. They're fantastic.
Co-star Natalie Portman.
He's really smart, and he's a good guy, and he's really funny too. I mean, he always kept us laughing.
Co-star Samuel L. Jackson.
Ewan brings a real joy to the job, and it makes it easy for you to do your job because, you know, we're all enjoying ourselves and having such a good time.
Ewan played father figure to Hayden on and off camera.
I could see some of the frustrations in him of the technicality of making these films. I'd already gone through that in episode 1, so I was able to help there.
Co-star Hayden Christensen.
Ewan is someone who I just, adore. I think he's an amazing actor, and was a real help to me, on set. He could, offer a lot of guidance. I think it's, has a really nice perspective on life.
Coming up on Revealed.
I resent very much people's opinion that we deserve it somehow because we're film stars.
As one of the most acclaimed actors of his generation, Ewan McGregor makes his living in the spotlight, but his private life is another matter.
I had a photograph taken in my underpants with my dad, standing with my dad on Bondi Beach in Australia, laughing. It's a brilliant moment, but it was in a magazine, and it was our brilliant moment, Yeah. It was a moment that my father and I shared on the beach, and it just feels wrong that it's taken away and put in a magazine. And the unfortunate thing is that more and more of the media is only geared on this. It's now mainly what sells that kind of magazine. And it's kind of all right until it starts involving my kids.
Right.
And then that's not all right with me. Because as a father, I have the right, and I should have the right, to protect my children, right? There's no doubt about that. Now, it may be hugely paranoid of me or whatever, but I don't want people knowing what they look like. My wee girl's 5.5, she should be a wee 5.5-year-old and shouldn't have to worry about camera guys following her around. So when they print, for instance, they printed a whole page of a tabloid newspaper in England of me and my daughter flying a kite in a park one Sunday afternoon, and she's like this big in the photograph, I think, well, now people know what she looks like, and effectively you've taken away my right to protect her. That's what they've done, and legally they're allowed to do it. And legally they make a lot of money out of it too. So I resent them very much, and I resent very much people's opinion that we deserve it somehow because we're film stars or pop stars or whatever people are, that we deserve to have our privacy taken away. I don't go with that. I didn't join that queue or sign that, that deal.
Right.
So I think something should change about it. I mean, I really believe it should change for children. I think that should just be illegal. There should be no doubt about that.
He's incredibly bright, like fast bright, clever, super sharp. He has a world perspective. He understands culture. He can talk about, it isn't just movies or, being in the industry.
Though Ewan has a serious side, he's almost always ready for a good laugh.
He's outrageous, he's very witty, he loves to play with words, and he just wants everybody to have the best time that they possibly can, which is very infectious.
Ewan McGregor has a lot to be happy about. He's come a long way from being a high school dropout working as a stagehand in a small theatre in Scotland.
I don't think there was a shadow of doubt ever that he would become a movie star. I don't think Ewan ever had a shadow of doubt, and I don't think I did either. I mean, there is that kind of engaging thing about him that makes you want to watch him.
He's gained a technique, but in the essence, it's still the 15-year-old essence, which is part of his great charm.
If riding a motorbike is a thrill, and if acting is a thrill, he'll be continuing to push himself further and further down that road. And we can only be thankful for that, because we're going to be the recipients of a lot of years of great performances.
I've been incredibly lucky, I've had such luck. I've had great backup, and I couldn't have wished for it to be any better, really.
If they're green or they're blue, anyway, the thing is, what I really mean, yours are the sweetest eyes I've ever seen.